So, in today's video, we're gonna talk about some very key topics from Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. I have marked some things here and I just want to go through it like one by one. Okay, let's talk about quit being a slave part. Quit being a slave means that all of us have some things in our life that we prioritize over. For example, for me, it's watching something either on Netflix, YouTube, any streaming platform there is. Like, I want to watch something when I'm doing something. I want to multitask. For example, if I'm tidying up my room, I want to listen to Spotify on something because when my brain is not that crowded, like the thoughts keep coming in. So, quit being a slave means getting rid of these things that we prioritize over our tasks. This could lead us to achieving self control, really. Self control in a way that you do what you have to do when you have to do it, when it's you take care of your responsibilities. If you're a slave to something, for example, if you're an alcoholic, if you're addicted to drugs, if you're addicted to sex, if you're addicted to porn, any of it doesn't matter. As long as you have something that prevents you from doing what you have to do, you have to quit right away. And I don't mean in a way that you lower the dose or you find a way to implement it in your life. You have to quit right away because, in my opinion, things don't work in a moderate way, especially when you're weak. I don't want to say if you're weak. Everybody is weak at times. Everybody have bad times. Everybody loses someone. Everybody goes through a bad time in their life. Because that is what life is. It's just ups and downs. And you're for sure going to be in a down. And when you have something that you were addicted to in the past, and you're keeping it in your life in a moderate level, it is much more easier to bounce back to your old level. So, yeah, it is much easier actually to quit anything that you are a slave of altogether because when it's not in your life completely, you don't think about it. And when you don't think about it, you got rid of it altogether. Especially if you begin to remove the habit triggers. As you know, maybe if you have read the book by James Clear, there are there are some triggers that are related to your habits. For example, if you're like, let's say you're having breakfast every morning and you like having Nutella with some pancakes with the breakfast. If you keep having breakfast but you decide to remove the Nutella with pancakes and like, because you're trying to watch what you eat, you're trying to watch your weight, and yet you do pancakes every day, you just eat them without the Nutella. I don't think that's gonna work, like, because you have associated something with Nutella in your mind. You have associated it with they have a certain relation between them, and if one gets triggered, it's like it signals to your brain the other is coming also, like it makes you crave it. When you have been eating when you have been eating pancakes with Nutella all your life, when you eat a pancake, you will also crave Nutella on it. That's just how the brain works. So if you're gonna quit, you don't make pancakes at all. I don't know if the analogy is good, but yeah. Oh, I wanna do another part. Let's see what I marked also. Let's talk about limiting yourself. In life, like it feels like as though we have to have everything as much as we can. For example, when you're eating, you want to eat as much as you want, as much as you can possibly. When you're preparing your food, if you're not careful about it, you just prepare the most amount of food possible that you think you will be able to take in. If you do not have control over yourself, if you do not have conscious limitations, and you're constantly trying to get more, consume more, it will not be a happy end for you. Like, you will for sure end up in a ditch, overstimulated, trying to recover from the pain of like, because dopamine works in like a balance. If you put too much pleasure, the pain rises up, and for it to be, let's say this is the pleasure side and this is the pain side. If you activate the pleasure side, okay, the pain side goes up. But for them to be balanced, this one has to go down also. As much pleasure as you have, it has to be balanced by like a similar amount of pain. That is why you feel very bad after you eaten lots of junk food, after you, let's say, any kind of activity that spikes your dopamine. Let's say after you do drugs, for example. Hold on, let me just get a sip of my tea. Oh. Limiting yourself is actually what grants you freedom in life. Like, it doesn't seem logical at first, but if you have limits, if you have boundaries in your life as to what to do, you are free because you do not have to think about it. Let me explain. When you do not have boundaries over yourself, you have to constantly worry about not going over some kind of an imaginary limit. That takes a toll on you. That really tires your brain down because you do not know the exact limit. If you have gone over it, you're constantly thinking about going over it, yet you're doing the activity. It feels like you're constantly going over the limit, but you're still doing the activity and not having the conclusive thoughts that you have actually went over the limit because you haven't set up a limit. And to be honest, a life filled with hedonism is not that good of a life. It's bound to lead you up to places that you didn't think you would end up. It's bound to like tire you over time, and if you are constantly consuming, if you do not have control over yourself, I don't think you're gonna achieve anything you want. Because life, like, let's say you're in a car, and the car is not stable. It's not working properly. You're trying to keep on a road, and it either steers right or steers left without your participation. You have to constantly be at the steering wheel to make the car go in the lane that you want to go, so it doesn't go on a like go on the other lane and a car crashes down on you. You have to be constantly at attention to fix the car, fix the steering wheel when it's going wrong. Life is like that. Like, if you do not have limitations, you're basically letting the steering wheel go all the way it wants to. You do not have any kind of control. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, see you next time.